Hi, everybody. Elaine here, the Animal Reiki Lady. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in this beautiful world. Thanks for joining me, and we're going to do another reading. Today, the reading is for Squeaks, and I've gotten so many requests. As I always mention, don't worry, I will get to each one, uh, but I've gotten lots of questions. So one of the questions that I asked specifically the Animal Collective today is about reincarnation. So we'll get to that as well. For those of you that I'm meeting for the first time, my name's Elaine, Animal Reiki Master. I help people make healing connections with the animals in their life here on this planet and those who are on the other side of life. So here we go. I like to do little readings for you. So if you have requested a reading, what I do is ask for a little piece of evidence. I ask for something, some sign that will show you that the animal I'm connecting with is your animal. And I trust that that happens. The information that I offer is not filtered. I do automatic writing. So I sit down and I just go into a meditation quiet space and ask to connect with a specific animal. Today it is Squeaks. Squeaks speaks. Then this seems to be cat week. It's so funny the way that that works. But it's the cats who are coming through this week. It's been more than this week, the past 2 weeks. It's been all about the kitty cats. So I have some fun information to share from Squeaks. And for Squeaks Human Companion, if you want to let me know in the comments if anything resonates with you or if additional questions come up, you can always send me emails too. And then I will share a little bit more information from the Animal Collective. The specific question that I asked was about reincarnation, and I got a very interesting insight into animals and whether or not they come back. Number one, if they have an afterlife, yes. And number two, do they come back and reincarnate? And the question was really cool. The question was, if animals reincarnate, how can they be waiting for us on the other side? So that's the question that I asked them. All right, let's get started. Squeaks, let's see what we had to say about Squeaks. So Squeaks' mama did share with me that Squeaks had 6 toes. And that is something that happens in certain breeds of cats, in certain cats. And that is a magic thing, actually. Having those 6 toes is so magical, and it's so interesting to look at them if you've ever looked at a cat who's got those 6 toes. So, number one, Squeaks was magic. And this whole reading from Squeaks was very magical, is the only word that I have for it. So please tell me if any of this, I hope I don't go too far down the rabbit hole for you. I try to rein it in when I do these readings, but every once in a while, like Squeaks, an animal will come through that is persistent with their message about magic. So Squeaks says, number one being magic, that there's also another special mark somewhere on her body. Um, Something that was very unique. Now, I know that Squeaks' mama also mentioned that Squeaks had brilliant green eyes, which may play into some of the things that come through. I'm not sure. I try not to let any of that influence the information that comes through. So I always ask for just usually a picture and a name, a brief description, but not too much because I don't like to influence what comes through. But I know that Squeaks had brilliant green eyes, but there's something else very special about Squeak's body. So I don't know what that is. I just got a sense of a marking or something unique that you would know and recognize. Also, that Squeaks was a psychic cat. Now, I know that most cats are more connected to psychic abilities and to connections on the other side than any of us humans ever will be. Cats are very special that way. But in this case, I got a sense that you knew that Squeak's third eye was wide open. That came through to me. Does the marking on Squeaks have something to do with third eye? Not sure. But a very psychic cat who had the ability to know things would show up. I'm just kind of reading what I wrote here. Show up unexpectedly at unexpected times or at unexpected places, as if knowing that Squeaks was needed to be there at that time. That Squeaks could read your mind. Squeaks was a little mind reader. And then what came up for me was some of this psychic stuff. So here we go. I don't filter it. I'm just going to share with you what I got, and you can let me know if it makes any sense to you. Egyptian, so ancient came through. This comes through for a lot of cats, though, that they have been around this. This is not their first rodeo by a long shot. But I got a sense of Egyptian and And aliens. I'm going to use the word aliens, even though I don't like aliens. And I know that there's this show on TV, right? Ancient Aliens, fun to watch. But what this has to do with Squeaks, I'm not 100% sure. Other than what I got, all right, I'm just going to say it. What I got was that we picture aliens in a certain way, but what if cats were able to go from place to place and reincarnate not just here on Earth, but in other places? And I got a sense that Squeaks has been on many journeys in many places on many planets. There, I said it. Because that's what I wrote down here, planets, many places. That Squeaks had a very extra unique life. More than any cat that I've ever connected with, I got a sense that Squeaks had a very unique extraterrestrial life. So I hope that makes some kind of sense. I hope it's not too far out there for you. I also heard a ringing bell while I was sitting in my meditation, a ringing bell, like a little ringing bell. Uh, and I didn't get a sense of where or what it was, not around Squeak's neck, just a little ringing bell. Blue glass came through, also brilliant blue glass, almost like blue iridescent seashells, is the visual that I got. And then a little bit more about constellations. And I could see somehow this is all tied together, the blue and the shells and the constellations and stars, constellations, horoscope, stars. Aries comes through loud and clear too. So I share all that. Hopefully it has some meaning for you. And she is sorry that she fooled you. So something happened. Was it towards end of life? She apologizes for whatever it was that fooled you. So what came through for me for that? Because cats fool me sometimes. When I work with cats who are reaching end of life, sometimes I get a strong sense that they are ready to go. And I will ask if I can share that information with their human. And the answer is generally yes. And I share that I got a feeling that whoever the cat is, Buddy, let's say Buddy, is ready to go. And then 3 months later, they're still with us. And it's because cats they're very willful, very independent. And I mentioned this in the last video. They know exactly what they want and they know how to get it. And they will do whatever they choose. And so if they decide to change their mind, they change their mind. And that's okay. But she does apologize for fooling you in whatever way that was. The last thing was a magnet. And this, I think, ties directly to the message that I got from the Animal Collective about reincarnation and being connected with us. But a magnet came through loud and clear from Squeaks, the word magnet. And I didn't get any clarification on what that means further. So what came up then was about reincarnation and the souls of animals. And animals are doing more than just wait for us on the other side. Going to the Animal Collective now, and Squeaks jumps in here too. That's where the magnetism comes from. The message that I got was that we are each connected to our animal companions. Like, is there such a thing as matched magnets? I don't know if that's a thing or not. Matched magnets, that no matter where we are in comparison to our animal companion, they are always with us. And I say this a lot, they're always with us. They are. Their love is in our heart. Their energy energy is neither created nor destroyed. Their energy has just taken on a different form. And when we can shift our vibration from a place of grief and sadness and raise it up just a little bit, replacing it with love and peace and calm, it allows them to connect with us. And then we know that they're always with us. So in some form, they are always with us, but it goes much deeper than that. So let's talk about reincarnation for a minute. In the traditional sense that we are taught, and what we are taught, we don't even know what we're talking about. I don't even have all of the words to express to you what it means. Reincarnation, the way that it is taught in the Hindu tradition, just very briefly, broad overview, broadest strokes, is that we have karma and we repeat our lifetimes again and again and again until we have overcome this karma and we achieve a place where we as human beings have risen to such a high level that we never need to return again. But it doesn't work like that for animals. I'm not even convinced that it works like that for people, because I believe that we can transcend that karma in one lifetime. That it doesn't, we don't have to keep, we're not being punished again and again and again by returning. Anyway, I'm getting off track. Reincarnation for animals is much different. They do not have karma because I've mentioned before, they've never sinned. They don't lie. They don't deceive. They are pure positive love. They love you the minute they meet you. They love you ever for the rest of all lifetimes. They love you. There are no rules. That's really what came through. When it comes to animals reincarnating, there are no rules. There's no little step one, step two, step three explanation that I can give you that they are here and then they cross and then they are there and then they float back. It's all of that and more. I'm going to try to express it as clearly as I can based on the question. If animals reincarnate, if our pets reincarnate, I prefer the term animal companion, you guys know that. If our companions, our soul companions, reincarnate, how can they be over on the other side of life waiting for us? Couple different things. Number one, they are multidimensional. What that means is that they are capable of being in multiple places at one time. I will use the example of my father because I believe all of this applies whether it's animals or humans. On a Thanksgiving holiday, my father, who had passed the year before, appeared to my sister as a cardinal, appeared to me as a different bird, and appeared to yet another person as a squirrel. And when I say appeared to, we each had, in a different part of the country, we each had an experience where we encountered a wild animal and knew instinctively that it was my father trying to communicate with us. For me, it was a brown, they're called northern flickers, beautiful brown and orange birds, who was clinging to the windowsill outside of my second story apartment, outside of my bedroom, and sat there for a solid hour, long enough for me to take pictures and video. I have no windowsill. It is a blank slate on the outside of my building. How did that bird, what did it cling to? There's nothing for it to cling to. How did it sit on something that doesn't exist? So I knew instinctively that that was my father. At the same time that my sister had a cardinal come to her window and tap, 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 tap for 2 hours. Also in the same vein that she was able to take pictures, she was able to take videos. Tap, 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 tap. There's this beautiful red cardinal. So we knew that our father was able to come through to us in different places through different animals and let us know that he could be with us. So I think animals are multidimensional in the same way. They can be in more than one place at one time. And if they do reincarnate, it doesn't mean they're not still waiting for us there on the other side. I know I don't have enough good words to explain this, that animals are multidimensional, that there are no rules. Oh, that they also have a choice. That came through too. They have a choice. They can decide whether or not to come back. And they can decide whether or not they want to come back in this lifetime or in a future one of our lifetimes or back to a past lifetime. Wrap your mind around that one. There is no such thing as time or space on the other side of life. It's all beautiful, loving magic. And it's not just for animals, it's for people too. But we aren't socially or culturally conditioned to believe that. And I know that there are some of you watching this video who will not believe it. But for those of you who do, you'll know exactly where I'm coming from. That life after life is so much more than what we think it is. And it's not about heaven, and it's not about hell, and it's not about purgatory, and it's not about karma or reincarnation. It is about choices. And we have a choice of what we want to do next and where we want to go. And yes, there is an afterlife, and it's an afterlife not just for us, it's an afterlife for everything. It is as if I heard this expression once that God is an elephant with 14 legs who can speak Japanese. and that God experiences everything through all of us in every possible form that we can imagine. And when we cross back to the other side, it's why I no longer have fear of death. I have no fear of death. I just, it's gone. And I don't remember when that happened, but I just know now from the animals that we have choices on the other side and we can get to do anything we choose to ever. And with each lifetime that we experience, we learn something new and we decide to do something else differently. And it's the same for animals. But going back to this last thing, our animal companions, it's where the word magnet comes in from Squeaks. Our animal companions and us are bound together like two magnets that can never be pulled apart. And even though our little physical bodies may be separated by death, and some of us remain here and others are on the other side, we are like magnets that can never be actually totally pulled apart. And when we get to the other side, it's not like you're going to have to go searching for them. It's like the magnets instantly bring us together. And if they reincarnate and come back here as an animal that wants to be in your life again, and you're like, oh, how will I know if I go to the shelter? What if I miss them? What if I pick the wrong one? It's not going to happen because you are like two magnets, and boom, you are going to know right away when you look into the eyes of that animal, whether it's a cat, a dog, a parrot, or a horse, or a goldfish, you're going to know right away that your animal companion has come back to spend some more time with you. And you open your heart to them and you open your home to them and you let the grief go. That's last thing, and then I'll be all done. Is about the grief that says, I will never love another animal companion again. If we've ever experienced any kind of heartbreak, whether it's from another human or from an animal, we're like, nope, not going to go through that again. No, thank you. Love is unending. Love never dies. Remember that magnet analogy and know that you can experience it again. And then you'll be able to let them go with much more ease when their time comes because you know that you'll have that connection. And whether you meet up with them again here on the planet, or whether you meet up with them again at the Rainbow Bridge in heaven, you'll be together forever. You always are. And that's my message for today. So thank you, Squeaks. Thank you for you guys for letting me share these messages from your animal companions. And thank you to the Animal Collective for offering me the insight and for offering me the words and sometimes not the words. I love you guys so much. Have a beautiful day. And until the next video, may animals light your way.